Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki, Sean, and Ryan are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 44, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hasan, and joining me once again is my good friend Brian Hall.
Hey, Zaki. Hail Hydra.
And Sean Coyle.
But buenos noches. What's buenos noches? It's Spanish for bonsoir. What's bonsoir? It's French for buenos noches.
I should know that.
It sounds like a Pink Panther film or something.
Yeah, I got nothing, Sean.
It is Daffy Duck and Porky Pig in a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Oh, come on now.
They have to share a hotel room. You've all seen it.
Yeah,
Not you all in the audience. You've probably never seen it. But Zaki, I know you've seen it. And Brian, you've probably seen it.
I love Looney Tunes.
Me too. Yeah, Sean was just telling me earlier today about how it's kind of depressing that kids today don't really know about Looney Tunes unless you like force them to know about it.
Yeah.
And force them, I will.
I do. They cry and scream and say, no, please no. But I'm like, no, here we go. Pepe Le Pew coming up. You know? I actually, we were talking about a little bit of this before we went on, but, we go through this right now with the fact that TV viewing for kids these days is instant. Mm-hmm. And they have access to everything that they want instantly. And this has become a big problem when it comes to putting the kids to bed because, it used to be like when we were kids, we had our shows in the morning and the afternoon, and then at nighttime was mommy and daddy shows.
Right.
Yep.
And so you recognize it. You understood it. It's like, well, now this is on, so go to bed. But now kids, they can just watch whatever they want whenever they want. This is a problem because they want stimulation all the time, and they want horrible PBS shows with there's this show, okay, that my 3-year-old loves called Super Y.
Okay.
And it's all about teaching kids how to read. And I got to be honest, I would rather he not read.
Super Y as in WHY or Super Y, or what does that mean?
Yes, like Super Y as in no. Yes, he's a no. It's Super Y as in WHY, and I don't know why it's Y.
Is that the kid with the green mask?
With the green mask, he looks like Ryan Reynolds in the Green Lantern movie.
Just like him. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the horrible show, and it sucks. And so. My youngest won't, or my second youngest won't sleep unless he gets to watch this thing before going to bed. And to me, this is a problem because it's just pure stimulation. And it's
they're not being lulled to sleep here. This is like a show that's like agitating their brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is irksome to me. So this is like, we record this show fairly late. So I'm just coming on after having done bedtime duty, So I've got like a crisis blanket around my shoulders right now, and
Well, and I was saying to Zaki, what he should do is instead of if they want to stay up, it's like, hey, we can stay up. That's great, but we're gonna watch Gettysburg, that 4-hour. Whatever with Jeff Daniels in it, and then they'll associate like with wanting to stay up with like, okay, Gettysburg time, I can dig it, kids, and so then they'll be like, oh, so then they'll never want to stay up.
see, my youngest one for a while there, he was getting really into Dallas because I usually watch episodes of that before I go to bed.
Weird, man.
It is.
Your youngest, the one who's barely one.
My sorry, I forget how many I have. My next to youngest,
okay.
and
your youngest is like your Maggie. Who?
Yeah, it's really that way. Yeah. So I was watching an episode during the day at one time. And my wife was out, so my middle two were home, and I had an episode of Dallas just playing in the background, and it was like this scene where there's like a wedding that's about to happen, and then like one character interrupts the wedding, and it's like dun dun dun, and so my second oldest is like, he's asking me, he's like, is that a bad guy? And the younger one, the 3-year-old, is like, no, that's just Cliff.
Wow.
So that's I mean, you joke about how these kids are like out of the 80s. I don't think there's any more proof you need of that than the fact that they know the various characters on Dallas.
Wait, you're talking about the 80s Dallas, or you're talking about the current Dallas?
I'm talking about old school Dallas, OG Dallas, as I call it.
Which is kind of funny because when you talk about being a kid and how there weren't cartoons for us when we were kids, and the adults would have their shows at night, what I remember is sort of groggily stumbling out of my room and seeing my parents watching Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like a time warp going on at the Hasan house.
I'm just trying to keep that experience alive, I think it's important. So the other day I was speaking of just watching like stuff on TV. I've made a choice, right? My family and I we have cut cable.
Yeah, I saw that you posted that on Facebook. Do tell. Day what? Day 1, right? Day 2?
We're on day 2 now, and yeah, man, it's I can do this,
Good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it came down to is like satellite is expensive, first of all, and second of all, I realized that I have Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was thinking about how like we don't live like this is not the same age we were in even like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where cutting cable is a thing, because now it's like, well, I've cut this way of accessing all the shows that I want, but now I still have this way to access all the shows.
And it's like, I'm speaking like someone who's done it, and I haven't, but my roommate and I have actually talked about it, and it's like with the CBS or NBC with the Olympics, whatever, like it's not like those channels don't exist
right
to televisions anymore. Those channels are free. You know what I mean? Like all you have to do is get like an antenna or like a little HD box or whatever.
Right.
And you can still have the live television.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I realized that, well, I'd rather save the $75, but then I sort of correct myself because it's not saving that money, it's just using it for things like food and basic survival,
Yeah.
But I was watching a cable like last week, and they had the movie Dead Poet Society on.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have seen Dead Poet Society, I'm assuming.
Of course, yeah.
It's been a while.
So Dead Poet Society ends, right? And if you remember, the whole thing is that Robin Williams has impacted these kids in their lives, and he's told them how to read poetry and whatever. And then he's gone too far, so he ends up getting kicked out of school. And it ends with this triumphant beat where Ethan Hawke stands up on his desk as Robin Williams is leaving, and he's like, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," and then the other kids are like, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," and they all stand up on their desks, and, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." It's this beautiful thing, and then Robin Williams is like, "Thank you, boys, thank you," and then the music swells, and we cut to black, right? So I'm watching this, and for the first time, I'm like, well, what happens like 30 seconds after we cut to black?
Yeah,
because
your teacher has left. You're all standing on the desks. Like, who's the first one to get down?
Do you get down? Do you continue? Is it like a game of chicken? Like, well, who's the first one that's going to get down? Do you just stand there until nightfall? Like, there's no good way to end the story 30 seconds later.
Yeah.
Because when you think about Robin Williams, like, "Thank you, boys, thank you. Well, see ya," and then he leaves. So it got me sort of thinking, like, what other movies are there where if you just end it like a minute later, it's not quite as effective at ending?
Yeah.
There's
I don't know.
one.
Did you have any? Or Sean?
Yeah, there's one actually just today, because I signed up for Hulu Plus around the topic, and I watched Last Action Hero. I had that playing because I hadn't seen it in a while.
Okay.
And so the end of the movie, he gets Schwarzenegger back into the picture, and they're like, "Oh, it's just a flesh wound," because Arnold gets shot in like the real world where bullets kill people, and so like the boy has to race and get him back into the movie, and he saves the day or whatever. But before that, they're in an ambulance, and he pulls a gun out and threatens the people in the ambulance, like demanding that they drive him to the movie theater. And they stop the ambulance and they get out, and so he has to like drive himself to the theater. Is this all ringing a bell to you guys?
Uh-huh.
So he gets Schwarzenegger back in the movie, and then I'm like, this kid was waving a gun around a bunch of innocent paramedics and basically stole an ambulance. Like, what's going to happen to him? 5 minutes after this movie ends.
I think about that all the time. I don't have something off the top of my head, but there's so many movies where it's like, yeah, someone like gets the guts to like commandeer a car and save the alien, or something. And then it's just like, then the alien leaves and you're like stuck there in the car that you commandeered and
Right.
it's on your tail. You're like, oh.
It's like E.T. What happens the day after E.T.?
Yeah.
The FBI takes that big tent down slowly from that suburban house. Sorry.
Well, I feel like there's a really interesting sequel to the Dead Poet Society where we have Ethan Hawke like 30 years later, and he's drunk and destitute. He's living in a bus depot somewhere, eating food out of a dumpster. He writes like crazy poetry that nobody gets, and it's all because he got kicked out of high school for standing on his desk.
Poetry. Yeah. I always wondered what would happen after Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because it's such a sweet ending, and John Candy's homeless, and so he's like, "Come have Thanksgiving with me," and then the next day is it like, so
like leaving now, or because he's still going to be annoying.
Yeah,
right. Well, and actually speaking of John Hughes, what happens the Monday after The Breakfast Club?
Dude, I just watched. It's funny is I watched both of these movies this week.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to think that Anthony Michael Hall would be getting picked on in the hallway, and Emilio Estevez. What's that?
You're saying back to the status quo, or?
Yeah. Well, I think Emilio Estevez would maybe break it up, but he would never put his arm around him. He'd sort of give him a little nod, yeah, we had that moment. And move on. That's kind of
an emotional conversation in the movie, though. Whether they're discussing, they bring it up in the movie, what's going to happen on Monday? And they admit, what's her face, the annoying one, Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald.
I love how we answer right away.
Anthony Michael Hall's like, well, what's good? I would never, diss you guys in the hallway or whatever. And she's like, but you don't understand. It's like our people and your people aren't the same kind of people, or however she phrases it. And it was just interesting.
She failed.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. She did. These are some I want to put it out there for the listeners. Do you have any the day after stories of movies that you like that the ending would be completely different if you just ended it a little bit later?
Maybe Avatar. Sam Worthington wakes up as a blue person again. Is like, oh shit.
Yeah, this is permanent.
What was I thinking?
What was I thinking? Yeah, it reminds me of the ending of the first Rocky.
Yeah.
Because what's interesting about that movie is that that movie was supposed to end later in the story. So if you guys have seen the first Rocky, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. It ends with I love you and moment of triumph, right? And the original ending was that it would be after the match and they declare Apollo Creed the winner or whatever, and then everyone leaves and we just kind of end on Rocky and Adrian leaving the stadium, the arena, together, just hand in hand. And that's actually the poster of the film. If you see, it's a rear shot of Rocky and Adrian walking hand in hand. And the idea was he lost the fight, but they found each other, and it was this kind of sedate ending. And then it was testing so badly because they realized that you have this great emotional high that there's no point going on after that.
Right.
So, I mean, that's
that reminds me of Karate Kid, actually.
Karate Kid also,
that scene, the theatrical version ends with him in the ring and his girl and Miyagi running toward him and everyone's cheering. But then at the beginning of Karate Kid 2,
right,
they start with the original ending of Karate Kid 1, which is this confrontation in the parking lot, which is kind of like the horror movie rule, where it's you kill the bad guy, but the bad guy has to come back one last time.
Yeah.
And
I actually didn't know that. So the beginning of Karate Kid 2, had they filmed it for the first one?
Yeah, apparently that was something that was supposed to be in 1.
So that was
threatens them in the parking lot and breaks those car windows.
The whole thing with Martin Kove where he's
yeah, exactly.
He honks his nose.
Yeah, and then Miyagi subdues him and.
So that was filmed or that was scripted and then they filmed it later?
Pretty sure that was filmed.
Wow, no kidding.
And they just tacked it on.
It's interesting because you watch the second one and you're like, why did they only get these guys for just this 2 minutes in the second movie? When you watch it, so.
Yeah.
I saw Martin Cove at like a comic convention or like one of these like pop culture shows.
Yeah.
And he was like signing autographs, and I was like, I'm afraid to go talk to him.
Yeah, I saw him. I worked at a job at a studio, and he walked past my desk and was looking for the restroom.
Yeah.
And he could be the nicest guy in the world. I have no idea, but I was scared of him. He just kind of like that.
Apparently, I work 2 blocks away from where the Cobra Kai dojo is. I still have to verify that, but
Really?
yeah,
I have to look that up.
yeah.
Wow, that's pretty random. Anyway, as we do each and every week, we start things off with some listener letters, and we have one here from Michael Olson, who is a listener, and we're glad to have him as a listener. And he says, "Fellas, I love this podcast. Listen to it whenever a new one is released. I would love it even more if you no longer played the audio to the trailers. Those are precious 1 minute, 30-second chunks of my life I can't get back. And sadly, I don't have the imagination to make up enough mental pictures to fill in the typical last 30 seconds of trailers, explosion noises, guttural grunts, and testosterone-encumbered 2-syllable catchphrases shouted at me by Bruce Willis / The Rock / Arnold Schwarzenegger / Muscle Man McMuscles. But if I'm alone in this feeling, then I will gladly suffer the audio assault in order to enjoy your delicious podcast offerings. Cheers, Michael McMuscles." So
I like that you call this delicious.
Yeah, that word actually stuck out to me too. I don't think I've anything I've ever done called delicious, and I've cooked. So,
well, I mean, I have to say for this, and Brian, I know when you put the show together, we put some effort into making the trailer chunks that we select as audio friendly as possible.
Definitely. Yeah, I this doesn't go toward my opinion on it. I don't know. I kind of go both ways. Like, I think there is something nice about, if we're going to talk about something for a little bit, like having a little bit of reference.
Yeah.
To go with it. And so in that way, I don't really mind it. But yeah, it's one of those things where I think we have done it before where we'll play something and it will just be like, in a world. No! What? Oh. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, no, I think all of us have tried to make an effort to make them as coherent as possible. But I'd be curious what other people think.
Yeah, again, let's put that out there.
Yeah.
What do you think about how much trailer noise we put in, and whether we should? Michael says get rid of it all.
Yeah,
he's having none of it. So I don't know. Let us know what you think. Like I said, we do make an effort, but obviously, if there's a cause for concern, then you should let us know. But new releases that are currently out right now, I'll start with Sabotage, which came out last week, and that's the new Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle.
Do they play the Beastie Boys song in there at any point?
They don't. I was actually hoping they would, but they do have audio of William Shatner saying Sabotage. Sabotage. Have you ever seen that? I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. It's this audio blooper of William Shatner doing a commercial, I think, and he can't. No, it's not a commercial. It's like Star Trek audio, but he doesn't know how to say sabotage.
Is someone like trying to correct him? So he.
Yeah. It's like the sci-fi nerd equivalent of the famous Orson Welles like bloopers.
Right.
If you've ever heard those.
Oh, yeah.
Where Orson Welles is just angry and drunk. And, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the audio of the Shatner thing. I'm going to play it so you can listen to it right now.
Spock, sabotage the system. Spock, restore the atmosphere. Spock, sabotage the system. I wish I knew what to do. Observations, Mr. Spock.
Okay, can you have line 193 again with sabotage, pronounced sabotage?
I don't say sabotage. You say sabotage. I say sabotage.
Okay, so Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in the new movie Sabotage, which nobody went and watched. Now, we talked about last
really
year.
Bad.
It's at this point
7th, I believe.
Oh my gosh, did it really?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's just embarrassing. But it's the worst opening of his career.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's weird because remember we talked about last year when Escape Plan opened.
Right.
Yeah.
which teamed up Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. We're like, what universe does this movie not turn out an audience? Like 1980s us is just shocked and dismayed at that turn of events.
Well, you know what I thought of? I had this occur to me. When we were like 11 or 12 and like a Charles Bronson movie would come out or something, you know, like a Charles Bronson movie would come out or something, you know, like, and we're like, what? You know, and then it would air on like Channel 50 a year later, and we'd just be like, what? Like, why aren't they showing Goonies again?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is that what this is now? You know, is Schwarzenegger Charles Bronson to like today's 14-year-olds?
Maybe.
I mean, not maybe. I mean, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading an article on Huffington Post earlier today entitled, "Why Does No One Care About Arnold Schwarzenegger?"
Aw.
And first of all, I mean, to his credit, he made the promo rounds for this movie. He even showed up on Jimmy Kimmel, and he did this very funny bit where he's promoting. He's on a QVC show. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Get to the chopper!" And it's great. It was really funny. And so this is what the article, and this is by Chris Krapek on Huffington Post, and he says, in 2014, the man who was once one of the biggest movie stars in the world can no longer open a movie. More people saw I, Frankenstein, Vampire Academy, The Legend of Hercules, Tyler Perry's Single Moms Club, Devil's Due, and Winter's Tale than Sabotage on their first weekends.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean,
you know what? I just had a sad thought. I almost don't want to say it out loud, but the get to the chopper bit.
Yeah.
Like, did either of your wives get that?
No.
Did
my
any
wife
15-year-old get that? Like,
No.
is that where we're like, you know, like we get it, but like that's about it.
Okay, so my wife got it, but the only reason she got it is because whenever we're running late anywhere, I'm like, "Come on, get to the chopper, come on." So my kids know that, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's aimed at people who would know Predator, which is, let's face it, I mean, it's not a huge chunk of the current movie-going population.
No.
But here's the thing. So this movie tanks, right? It made $5.2 million in 3 days. So Red Heat made $8 million in 3 days in 1988. Right?
Well, it had a Belushi in it, right?
That's there is the Belushi bump.
And Ray Dawn Chung, wasn't she in that?
No, she's in Commando.
She's not in both?
Maybe she is in Red Heat. I don't know. I know she's in Commando though. So
Doesn't matter. Irrelevant.
It really doesn't. But here's, I mean, this is all a long way of circling around to the fact that I didn't mind Sabotage. I thought it was actually pretty decent. So I was
okay.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, was it sort of like okay, or did you actually enjoy it as a movie?
You know what? I was engaged by the storyline. It was insanely violent, and I appreciated that on some level because you don't get to see that. Because these days you have right up to the edge of an R rating to get a PG-13.
Right.
But this was unapologetically R, and I liked that. Like there's one part where there's this character, and he's in a Winnebago. Like he's one of the main characters. He's in a Winnebago, and somebody has parked that Winnebago on train tracks to kill him, basically, right? Yeah. So he's trying to get out of his Winnebago. This train just plows into it. The Winnebago, explodes into pieces, whatever. So then we cut to the police investigators on the scene, and one of the cops is like, "I found a torso," and we just see this pile of guts.
Oh my God.
Just this pile of guts, and she puts a flag in. I'm like, well, you don't see that very often.
Yeah.
You don't see the pile
you really
of
don't.
guts.
You really don't.
Yeah. The old gut pile, and I mean, there's another scene. I mean, this is like a Saw movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. There's another scene where one of the other characters is nailed to a ceiling. And his stomach, his chest cavity is cut open, so his guts are dangling out as he is nailed to the ceiling.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're not exactly selling me on this movie.
It's disgusting. I mean, the director is David Ayers, who did End of Watch, right, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
he basically, I think he was given blood packs by the pound, and he was told, like, hey, we got to pay for everyone we don't use or something, you know?
Yeah.
Because-
well, all right. Maybe
but-
what is it? Last Stand. That was maybe it's like that's on Netflix now. My brother, I know. Remember you kind of dug it, and then my brother just watched it. I was like, you should check it out. So maybe it's like on
it's
Netflix.
worth watching.
It's this movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays the head of like a DEA team, right? And there's Sam Worthington, what's his name, Josh Holloway, Muriel Enos from The Killing, Terrence Howard of all people. Like, what's he doing here?
Tony.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Arnie.
Arnie. Yeah, and it's weird because in the context of the film, I think Schwarzenegger has aged very well. Like, I think he's grown into the old man role pretty well, and they give him some interesting stuff to do. I mean, I will not say that I would not recommend it to everybody, but I would say that for those people who are going to watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, which based on the opening is not very many,
Yeah.
but if you're somebody who's like, oh, let's go see the new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, you have a very narrow set of expectations, and those expectations will be met.
Well,
How's that for selling it?
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
You have a set of expectations, and those expectations will be met.
Well, I mean, it's weird, right? Because I gave it like a B minus. I gave it like a B minus because I was like, well, if you're a fan of him and his movies, it's in that wheelhouse. I mean, it's not for everybody, but
Right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, we know who's going to go watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Zaki.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, and I didn't pay for it, so bear in mind there is that also, right? So
Yeah.
that helps. But another new release out right now is Noah.
Noah.
So Brian, now you and I have both seen this. I have no idea what your opinion was. So Brian, what are your thoughts on Noah?
Noah. It's funny. I don't even know if I can tell you. Like, the only way I can explain my thoughts on Noah is to just, like, talk about it. Like, I don't even know if I have a final opinion on it, and I won't turn this into the Noah podcast, but I'll say this. I've talked about this on the show, I think. Like, I got to read the script maybe about 2 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. I just by chance, I listened to the episode recently where you and I talked about the trailer for this.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because knowing what it was, and then as it approaches, you have these people who are like really, religious, and they're looking forward to seeing a movie that's like an exact interpretation of the story they're familiar with from the Bible. I was like, uh-oh, you're not going to like this. And then all of a sudden there's this like backlash because the studio knows it isn't that movie, and so Paramount decides to screen their own cuts. To these different audiences and to try to tinker. And it's like, well, so it was really interesting for me to see this sort of play out, building up to its release and see how people were going to take it. And it's basically how it went down. I think it's pretty divisive the way people feel about it. But, I felt as a movie, it's pretty interesting. I think I even said this. Did I say this on the podcast before? It's sort of like, it reminded me of like, where you have these comic book characters and it's like, look, Batman's parents are killed and then he becomes Batman. But like, you can do whatever, like people reinterpret it over and over. Like this reminded me of that. It's like, look, there's a flood and a guy builds a boat with animals. And this is my version of that.
Right.
And my version has.
By the way, Brian, I somebody yesterday asked me about the movie, and I used that specific analogy that you gave,
really?
and he looked at me like a crazy person. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. That didn't go right.
I don't know if it landed, but I appreciated it. So
great. Well, that's the best way I can put it. And so
I think it's a good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Darren Aronofsky's version of Noah, I think, is really interesting. I mean, it's Russell Crowe. All the performances are great. Russell Crowe is really good. Jennifer Connelly she has this one moment where she like freaks out on Noah. I was like, wow, I forgot what a great actress she is. Yeah. And you just don't see her as much these days.
Right.
But the thing is as a movie, I feel like it just barely holds together in a lot of ways. Like, it's just stuffed with ideas, and like the first half is really interesting. You know, you've got Noah has this vision that the world's going to flood and only his family's going to survive. You know, everyone else is wicked and they need to be wiped out with this flood, and so he's sort of, you know, tortured with this thought, but he's compelled to do it, and it's really interesting. And so that's the first half of the film, and then, you know, you have all these wicked people trying to board the boat, and then there are these creatures that end, you know, in Aronofsky's interpretation, that end up sort of helping him and fending off these people, and you're like, wow, what am I watching? Like, this is, it's, you can't look away from it, you know. And it's really, I think it looks really great, I thought, you know. But then once they get on the boat, you know, it's like you kind of have to invent drama. And it's like he comes up with this whole little subplot about Noah. I guess I won't spoil it, but basically Noah having to make difficult decisions that feel a little out of nowhere and kind of extreme. And I feel like they could have better interpreted, or at least shown, how he was struggling with this thought and with these things that were going on. And I don't know that they did so well. It just made him seem like a completely different person all of a sudden. And so yeah, the second half just didn't kind of work as much for me. But when all was said and done, I was like, well, that was a really interesting watch. So I don't know. What would you think?
Well, I think you and I are basically on the same page. I give it a lot of points for being something different, and for being what is very clearly kind of a personal story for Aronofsky. And I think it didn't land 100% with me, but I appreciate the fact that it exists and it was allowed to happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's
amazing. I mean, seriously, this movie is so bonkers when you think about it in context of like culture and historical attachment to this story and what it means to a lot of people, and the fact that they spent over $100 million telling this gonzo version of it. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
It is,
sounds like something that Zaki would tell his student who's like trying too hard but still keeps failing every test. Like, I appreciate the fact that you exist and that you were allowed to happen. Sorry.
No, I agree with Brian. I think the up until the flood, I think it's very, very engaging.
Yeah.
All of the stuff with the building, and actually, you know, as a relatively religious person myself, I liked the fact that it was visualized so differently from sort of what we think of as the Noah story, because it made it easy for me to just separate it in my mind as just, this is a fantasy story.
Yes.
It's
and I
Lord of the Rings or something, you know?
That's a good point. That's a good point. And I could see where some people, because I grew up, you know, with a religious upbringing too, and I would consider myself religious now also. And so I can understand where people who identify as very religious could be upset with this,
absolutely.
But I appreciate that the movie, like you said, tries to sort of set itself apart and be like,
well, and
this is my
Brian,
fantasy. Yeah.
I think this is what I noticed, right? And you tell me if you picked up on this. I felt like there was a deliberate effort to make the setting any when.
Yeah.
You know, it could be the far future.
Sure.
Like post-apocalyptic, because there's no, you know, connection to any sort of terrestrial time that we know of. It's like After Earth, the way the locale is. You know what I mean? And it makes it easy to just view this as a complete fantasy story. And even like the way the prologue is told, you know, talking about the first murder and all that. I mean, that's like the War of the Ring or something in Lord of the Rings. Like, to me, I found it easy to just be like, okay, compartmentalize this as its own complete thing. It has no bearing. Like, I'm not, you know, my view of Noah and that story is not affected at all by me taking in this story, you know. And now some, like you said, Brian, some people have a harder time with that than others. In the film, like you mentioned, there's these creatures called the Watchers who I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but you know, they have some sort of luminescent connection to God and whatnot. And the mere presence of those creatures is enough for I know one person I talked to was like, oh, my mom like walked out of the theater when they showed up.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, well, that makes it easier to just classify this as just pure fantasy.
Yeah, this I mean, I can just say it again. I mean, this is Darren Aronofsky taking a story that everyone is familiar with, and he's taking like the backbone of it, and then he's reinterpreting it his own way.
Yeah.
And it's a very well, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I think the middle gets very, no pun intended, gets very soggy. But I think the ending pays off pretty well.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like, I had a more positive view of the film upon it ending than I did, like, while we were in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just it. Like, I think when it's all said and done, I mean, I thought about it, and it was enjoyable to talk about it with people, and I think it's visually really amazing. I mean, this is by far the biggest movie he's ever made. Mm-hmm. And he handles it very well, and I thought, for having these fantastical creatures in it and all the effects, like, I thought it all, he all had it under his control, and it was just, it's a really interesting watch. Yeah. And, if you think it isn't for you, then it probably isn't, but
there you go.
Yeah.
Those who like this sort of thing will find it the sort of thing they like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like Sabotage, really. Now, Brian, you also saw Side Effects?
Crazy. This movie did have the Beastie Boys Sabotage in it, which I was like, this is weird, but I'm kind of digging it.
And it totally fit. So tell us about Side Effects, Brian.
Well, I just threw that in real quick. I watched the movie Side Effects. Steven Soderbergh, I believe this was his last movie, right? Pretty sure, because he was talking about retiring, and I think this is the last movie he's made. Whether or not
was this before or after Magic Mike? I can't remember.
That's a good point, man.
At the same time, there's a stretch where he felt like he was coming out with like 3 movies a year.
Yeah, well, he was doing that, and he would make things that would go straight to video on demand. He didn't care. He was just like, I'm just going to make movies. And this was at least supposed to be one of his last, films. And anyway, so I caught this on Netflix. It had been in my queue, and I was looking for something to watch, and so I was like,
and it is after Magic Mike, by the way. It came after.
After Magic, okay. And I gotta say, it's pretty cool. I kind of liked it. It's like this 90-minute little psychological thriller, and I knew nothing about it. I suggest if you have any interest in this thing, don't look up anything about it. And it's just this kind of cool. It starts off a little slowly paced, but then all of a sudden you get all these like little nuggets and questions, and things don't start adding up as you go along. And it's kind of a cool little Hitchcockian kind of thriller. So. Anyway, Side Effects. Rooney Mara, Jude Law, C. Tates. So Jude Law, by the way, every time I watch Jude Law, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, he just owns everything he does, and like he's really good at this.
He has a new movie out right now called Dom Hemingway.
Yeah.
Which I was hoping to catch a screening of yesterday. I didn't get a chance to, but I'm hearing good things about. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because he started out sort of doing the leading man thing, but he's very quickly become just a much better character actor.
Yeah, and very strong in it. Yeah. I mean, this is I would say this movie, the real quick synopsis is basically Rooney Mara plays this girl who's kind of undergone a lot in her marriage and her life, and so she starts taking this medication that Jude Law gives her, and it starts to have side effects. And it affects her life. Yeah. And it's sort of like, is it the drug? Should the doctor know better? What exactly are these side effects, and what's really going on here? And da-da-da-da-da-da. So, yeah, pretty good. A good little Netflix nugget right there for you, Sean.
And then Channing Tatum's like, I'm here to help you, y'alls.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, here, let me pop in the lock.
Now, he's doing a sequel to Magic Mike.
Yeah, I heard that, but Soderbergh is not directing that.
Soderbergh is not. They have somebody else doing it.
Yeah, I'm not sure who.
So, have you seen that movie, Brian?
No, I never have. I heard I've heard people like really praise it, but I've never gotten around to watching it.
I've watched just enough to be deeply ashamed of my physique forever. I was like. I watched, like I said, not very much, maybe about 15, 20 minutes, but it was enough to be like, wow, those are some very good-looking men. that was my honest reaction. I didn't even feel bad about saying it. I was like, and then I looked in the mirror and I was like, you disgust me.
It's too bad we don't cut promos for our episodes. Just great sound bites.
I think if I ever had like,
you disgust me.
If I ever had like washboard abs, I could just see like this moment with like someone walking in on me in the bathroom and they see that I have laundry detergent in one hand and a shirt in another, and I'm like, I just want to see if I could actually wash a shirt on my abs.
They dance very well in that film. What can you do?
Yeah.
Speaking of dancing, by the way, very quickly, there's a new film coming out that's coming out just a few days after this episode goes up called Cuban Fury. And this is a salsa dancing rom-com starring Nick Frost and Rashida Jones and Chris O'Dowd. Yes. And I had the chance to see it a few weeks ago, and it's a sweet little movie. You know, it's fun. It's the first star vehicle for Nick Frost, who of course we all know and love from the Cornetto trilogy, from Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and of course The World's End. And I had a chance to talk to him about the film. It comes from an idea that he came up with, and he had a lot of stories to tell, not only about making the movie but also about making the Cornetto films. So let's go ahead and play the audio from that.
So this movie started with you. Started with an idea you had. Now, was this you being like, I love dancing and I need to share this with the world? Or was it the opposite?
No, look, I mean, I think my relationship with dancing is very complex in terms of the fact that I like it, and I've always loved dancing, and weirdly, I've always kind of been pretty good at it. But I don't like being watched when I dance. You know, there's a weird look that thinner people give to a big man who can dance well, and it's I can't. I mean, this is for this is like not a non-visual format. So I'll give you the look in a sound, and it's this. Ah. Do you know what I mean? And that look is like a fucking red rag to me.
So the film, I feel like you were working out some issues in this.
Oh yeah, I was. It was, it was the most expensive form of therapy a man has ever indulged himself in. It was, I didn't want to dance with my wife at our wedding because I knew that people would be watching us. Our dance lasted about 3 seconds, and I felt like I was back in grade school where I kind of just put my hands on her shoulders like a Frankenstein's monster, and we moved a bit, and then I kind of broke off and turned my back to the audience, to our families, and then everyone rushed on and danced, and it was saved. But I felt like I wanted to write a few.
So you wanted to dance like no one is watching.
Yeah, which is a saying the salsa world use a lot. But I think it was also, in terms of stuff I've done with Edgar and Simon, I thought it was really important for me to do, if I was going to do something on my own, to do something which was so completely different that people could never accuse you of sitting back and not challenging yourself.
Kind of riding coattails, or
yeah, and this was it. And I'd had this idea. Also, what else is going on is that thing where I was very keen on a big man or a plain man, who is a passionate dancer, woos a woman with his passion, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
I'm so sorry. It was that whole thing where just because you don't look like Brad Pitt, and let me tell you, there's a very tiny percentage of the population that looks like Brad Pitt.
Sure.
The rest of us look like us and me and the people out there,
Right.
We all find love. You know what I mean? It's about passion. Attraction is not necessarily about looks. I mean, yes, of course it is, but it's about passion, and passion remains. It doesn't get flabby. Passion never needs a nose job or its tits lifted up. It's a very attractive, beautiful thing, and that's not necessarily a passion for salsa. It could be a passion for graphic novels or cooking or engineering or, you know what I mean, the trumpet.
Right.
And so that was part of my deal about this film too, as it was like, let's show a normal man reigniting himself and in doing so finding love,
Well, and I think the relationship with Rashida Jones is very interesting because as I was watching, one thing I was noticing, I mean, obviously she's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
But there was something achievable.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's the word,
Yeah,
but
I completely understand. Yeah, and it should have been. It should be believable, and it's believable because he's lovely, and it's. I think it's a kind of. You immediately hate Drew because he's.
Oh, you hate him.
Because he's horrible, and he's horrible to Bruce, and you know that Bruce is. I think it's that nice thing that the good guy finishes first for once, and that's kind of doesn't always happen in real life. And I've kind of had experience of that myself, so it's nice to show that it can work, But what we did, I think, which is different, is that if you've done your work in terms of creating characters, you must imagine that when the film finishes, their lives continue, and we just don't see it,
Right.
But with traditional romantic comedies, where the man does it for the woman, and does it to win the woman, if 3 weeks after the film ends, she turns to him and says, "This isn't going to work for me," that man's back to square one.
Right.
But the way I think we did it is Bruce did it for himself. And so if Rashida said to him, I've got to go home, I've got to go back to San Francisco, he'd kind of be alright, I think, and that was what we wanted to do too.
Because she joins him after he's already reached his character moment. What was your training process like?
The term "living hell" is bandied around a lot, but I think it's kind of it was 7 hours a day, every day for 7 months. I'd get into a gym at 6:30, and I'd lift weights with my legs and arms for an hour, and then I'd go and we'd start dancing at 8 in the morning, and we'd dance till 3 in the afternoon. And it was a I think an hour into that first session where I had Richard Marcel, who is one of the big voices on the London Latino scene and a fantastic dancer, and Susana Montero, who's from Madrid and is one of the best salsa dancers in the world, and then me in the middle, kind of clumping my way through a basic step. I thought, we're fucked, we're ruined, I will never look like you.
Right.
My body will never move like yours, And but it took 7 months, but there were, about month 5, you start to think, oh, hang on, this kind of looks a bit like you, and you start realising that we might be able to do this, but it wasn't easy, because as soon as you get something and you think you're moving forward, they just dump a whole bunch of other stuff on you, and it's not just the dancing, you're essentially trying to learn a new language, because they're talking to you in Spanish, and the moves have Spanish names, and there were tears. There were twice I walked out.
Wow.
Just too much. Just gets to a point where it's like 2:30 and you're secretly looking at your watch thinking, okay, school will be out soon.
Right.
And your mind, you get to a point in the day where your mind just cannot absorb any more information, and it just got kind of a bit heated, and I think I did that thing where my voice broke and kind of went quite high, because I knew I was gonna, I knew there'd be tears. And I grabbed my bag with all my kit in and said, "I'm going home." And I just kind of walked out. It's kind of funny.
So the Cornetto trilogy is done.
Done.
What have you learned from that experience? Because that was kind of a life-changing experience for you, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, what have I learned? I mean, I've learned that we can do it. We set out to make 3 films, and we did it. Which I think we're all.
Did you know with Shaun of the Dead that this thing was going to be something that you?
Shaun of the Dead was. People loved it. It was only when we came here to the States to do the Hot Fuzz press tour did it sink in how big Shaun of the Dead had been, because it we were going into auditoriums, 500-seat cinemas, and it felt like you were one of the fucking Beatles. It was, people were going crazy, as only American cinema goers, stroke fanboys and girls can. If they like you, they like
let you know,
and they will let you know that they like you too, which is amazing, And I think when we were doing that was when we kind of thought, hey, people kind of love Shaun of the Dead,
Yeah.
And then they went on then to see Hot Fuzz, and they really like that too,
Yeah.
But I think we've always tried to be careful in terms of not taking that, that's not the norm.
Right.
That's 3 weeks of a life essentially, And I was talking the other day about when like a Roman emperor used to come back from overseas or winning a battle, and there were a million people cheering for him. They used to employ a man to stand on the back of his chariot and whisper into his ear, "Remember, you are mortal." And it's that kind of that thing you have to keep in mind is, let's go back and write another film. Let's go and make another film, and let's kind of ignore what that was, because it felt lovely, but it's fleeting and it's transient, and let's now do another one so we can then go back and feel that again.
All right. So look forward to that. You can see that in theaters very shortly. Like I said, after this episode goes live.
You can check out Zaki's ridiculously cool selfie with Nick Frost.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm starting to do a thing now. That's going to be my thing now, just celebrity selfies, because I got a selfie with Aaron Paul, and then this, and now I'm like, okay, I've got to keep this trend going.
You should post those on the Facebook page.
Yeah,
we should. That's a good idea. Make that happen, person who administers the Facebook page.
Yeah, Dave.
Hey, can I do a brief little tangent here?
Of course.
Today at lunch, it was one of our team members' last day on our show. So we all went out to lunch, and the waitress at the restaurant looked almost exactly like Mia Sara from she was a girlfriend in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
So I was like, the girlfriend looks a lot like from Ferris Bueller. The waitress, and they're like, oh yeah, and then the conversation came up like, what did she do after Ferris Bueller? And we're all like, oh, I don't know. She never really appeared in anything else. And I'm like, let's ask the waitress. And I thought it was a brilliant joke, and everybody's just kind of like, what? It's just a moment where I was like, I wish Brian and Zaki were here. We could have done a whole bit about it, and it would have been great.
Mia Sara, this is true. She appears in the first episode of a TV show. This is from 1993, I think, called Time Tracks. You guys remember that show, Time Tracks?
Sort of.
It was like a syndicated Warner Brothers show. This is like early 90s when there was all syndicated. So the premise of Time Tracks is that you have a police officer in the future who goes back in time to try to stop criminals from changing the past, right? And she plays his girlfriend in the future, and she's murdered. And then that same year, or like within a very short span, she was in Time Cop as Jean-Claude Van Damme's girlfriend, who is killed, or his wife rather, who is killed, and he's a cop who has to go back in time to stop criminals from changing the past. Really weird, right?
Yeah.
So that's what she did. She went back into the past and stopped her career from progressing, apparently. Yeah, it's sad. Sloan. It's a hard role to get past, I guess. Anyway, moving on from that, we do have a few headlines to discuss.
Headlines.
So biggest headline for this week, we're recording this on April 4th, and this is just a few days after March 31st, which is the 15th anniversary of the release of The Matrix. Yes. Dramatic silence.
Yeah. Take a moment. Remember.
Well, that response is actually very appropriate, because when you talk to people about The Matrix today, that's pretty much the reaction you get.
Yep.
Hey, remember The Matrix? And then 30 seconds of just uncomfortable silence.
Well, it feels like anytime you say The Matrix, it's like, yeah, the sequel sucked.
I know,
that
right away.
Like that's ubiquitous when you bring up The Matrix. Like you can't even admit that you like The Matrix without saying, well, but I didn't really like the sequels. Those were very good.
Or if you're like me, you say, I did like the sequels. Piss off.
Yeah.
Now who's ubiquitous?
Yeah. But, no, I mean, I made the comment. I made the comment that, my kids will never, the Matrix will have zero impact on their sort of formative lives.
Yeah, you said that on Facebook, and I was like, whoa. Whoa, like Neo.
Just like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. But that was so weird to me because that movie, for us, was humongous.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, diminished legacy, whatever you want to say right now in 2014, but in 1999, that movie was huge.
Yeah.
Like, that thing changed everything. Like, we went into that theater, all had our jaws hit the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had never seen people climb up the walls and, shoot people. Like, it was so awesome. That was the reason I bought a DVD player. I bought a DVD player so I could have The Matrix on DVD. And then I, replayed all my favorite action scenes over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was, the movie.
Yeah.
And so it's just so weird to me that, and think about it, too, the next few years after that, every single movie, commercial, whatever, was trying to look like The Matrix.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, hugely influential. And then now it's just so funny, but you're totally right. 15 years later, it's your kids will probably, they might catch it on TNT one day, and you'll tell them how cool it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
weird.
it's and you wonder. I mean, why is that?
That's a good question because I said on your page in that whole conversation, I rewatched it again on HBO lately, and it's really good. It's still really good. So I don't know. I mean, I could probably figure it out, but Sean, what do you think?
Well, the effects work was part of the appeal to that movie because, it's, like you said, it was stuff that we'd never seen before.
Bullet time and stuff like that.
And bullet time and all the 360 stuff. And since then, every single movie has done it. So there's no there's no hook. The movie's lost its hook. So thinking of your kids 5, 10, 15 years in the future, it's I mean, I guess you could say well, this is the movie that started it all if they're, if they become film buffs like we are. But there's any sort of initial appeal. It's just, if you stack The Matrix up with, movies that have come out since then and movies that will come out, in the future, it might not look as special to them because, all these movies have done the same thing. So, yeah.
I'll say what did actually stand out to me when I rewatched it recently was that it is still a good story. Yeah. It moves at a really, it's a tight script. And so, I mean, at least it does have that going for it. It's not it's just, it rests on its effects alone.
And beyond that, I mean, it is still a well-made movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Still, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any fat on it. I mean, the sequels certainly do, and that's a separate conversation. But I think the first Matrix on its own, I mean, that's that it is definitely a question. We three have been around long enough now where we have an instinctive sense now, I think, of what movies will last and which ones will be gone very quickly. And I think the Matrix, its place as that fresh thing that is has such an immediate mark, that's done now. I don't think that'll ever come again. But its place as an important film, I think it'll always be there.
Yeah, we'll just have to tell everybody.
Yeah, we have to explain it to them.
We'll have to explain it. Yeah.
I went back into my own archives because at the time The Matrix came out, I was actually doing movie reviews for the College of DuPage newspaper. Mm-hmm. So COD. COD. So I went back into my archives and actually I typed up the old review and I just put it on my blog just to have it as a piece. It was first published on April 9th of 1999, and the last line of my review is. If any proposed follow-ups can achieve the level of virtuosity that's managed here, I say bring on The Matrix 2.
Yeah.
Which is just, well,
you're responsible.
Yeah, it's my fault. Specifically my fault. They were on the fence until they saw that. But yeah, so Matrix, 15 years old. That's bonkers. Speaking of things that are legacy items more than anything else, we have David Letterman, who announced his retirement from his show.
And bonkers. Yeah.
Just yesterday, and doing the math on this, he's as of now been on CBS for 21 years.
Yikes!
Because he started at CBS our freshman year, Sean.
Jeez.
Yeah. So a little backstory here. Our very first year of high school, Sean and I, first semester, had a class together, which we didn't realize we had that class together until
senior
maybe,
year.
No,
Oh,
I
after
think
high school, yeah.
I think we didn't realize we had that class together until maybe like 2 years ago. So
Yeah. That's right.
so we kind of like backdate our friendship, even though like we. But like I remember being in that class our freshman year, talking to not you obviously, but somebody else in that class, and be like, "Oh, David Letterman is on CBS now." 21 years, and then before that, he did 10 years at NBC. So by the time he retires, he will have been a late night host for longer than anyone in history, including Johnny Carson.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah. Now here's my question: do you guys watch Letterman anymore?
No.
Like if I see he has a musical guest or someone that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not typically, no.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Letterman regularly?
Oh
Yes.
So why'd you stop?
Well, it seems like... I'm sorry. I was just going to say, it seems like with Conan... I used to watch Conan and Letterman.
Yeah.
And that was sort of like high school years. You know what I mean? Like when you're up, but you didn't really go anywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So like I watched a lot more late night television than I do now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I was watching Letterman on NBC. That's how I remember him.
Yeah.
And then Conan took over, and Conan really appealed to my sensibilities. And yeah, I don't know. But then the older you get, for me, I watch less late night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here.
I have to say, I have, we talked about this before, but I've been just consistently enjoying Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, apparently along with the rest of America.
Yeah, I mean, he's really like the transition to Fallon has been so beyond the moon successful than the Conan O'Brien transition that you realize like that was really ill advised in hindsight.
Right.
Yeah, it only made sense on paper. It's like, well, he's been here, he's paid his dues, let's bump him up. But yeah, his sensibilities were never really the Tonight Show.
And
like Fallon is just sort of like he can appeal to everybody. He's kind of
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always think about like right now, it seems like every single day there's a new viral video from something he did last night.
Right.
I was wondering if his writing staff is like, oh my gosh, we got to do it again. What a burden.
Pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Samuel L. Jackson on the other day he did a slam poetry about Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, just conceptually, that's so bonkers. I love it. Who would you like to see, or who could you see replacing David Letterman?
I could see Craig Ferguson.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
He was somebody that I didn't really pay attention to, but like one of those guys that every time I caught his show, I found myself sticking around a lot longer than I thought I would.
Yeah.
So
I think he's good at his thing.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think he's got a great 12:30 show.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him appealing to a wider audience. So let's say this: it wouldn't surprise me if the job went to him. But
the talk is Stephen Colbert. They want Stephen Colbert. He's their number one choice, and Stephen Colbert wants to do it.
I think that's a bad idea.
I can't imagine Stephen Colbert. Why that he wants to do it? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I read. Yeah, today.
That's interesting. I mean, yeah. I guess
he's their number one choice too.
I think he's way too polarizing for such a primetime slot like that.
That's just it, though. It's because his show, he plays a character.
He's playing a character, right?
Yeah, so like if he did the late night show, would he just be Stephen Colbert the person? Or would he take his personality over with him? I mean, that's, I mean,
because everywhere you see him, he's sort of doing that character. Like, remember when he was like at the White House dinner, he was giving like the
that's like his public personality. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be weird. Like, will normal Stephen Colbert be something people would even want to watch or respond to. You know,
I saw somebody on my Facebook suggested Chelsea Handler.
No, I think
I defriended that person as soon as I took that.
No, I mean she's got her audience and she's good.
I think you talk
doing
about
what she's
polarizing.
doing,
I think Chelsea Handler is very abrasive.
Yeah.
And she annoys the piss out of me like forever and always. I've had a strong dislike for her.
You know what? I think, yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of it depends on where the show is going to be, too. Because, like, Letterman fit New York. If Letterman was doing a show from L.A., it wouldn't feel the same. There's something about, like, the attitude of, like, you know, sort of like the stereotypes or what have you, like what New York is. And Leno was very West Coast, very like loose and easygoing in California. So I think that's something to consider. No, for real. Like, you know, you have to pick somebody that's going to like fit where the show is going to be made.
Right. When you think of someone like Conan too, like when he started, I mean, look who Conan is now. Mm-hmm. You know, or at least what he's accomplished in all these years. And he was like a writer from SNL who did not look like a television person.
Right.
You know, or even Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel's huge right now over on ABC, but I mean, he's like a radio guy. Mm-hmm. You know, so maybe there's someone that we don't know, you know, like maybe it's time to give it to some guy that we don't know yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I think that covers our... Oh, no. One more bit of news, and Brian, you brought this to my attention. Police Academy... You know, we talked about Police Academy before. We talked about Police Academy on this show like many moons ago. It was an episode of just you and me, and we were talking about how there are like 7 Police Academy movies, plus 2 TV series. So this thing was a monster of a franchise that they've been trying to bring back for a while, and I'm absolutely uninterested. But then today they announced what, Brian?
Well, I was about to leave work. And I saw this headline that said that Key and Peele of Key and Peele from Comedy Central are going to be producing a remake of the Police Academy. And I was like, sir, you have a ticket sold.
Yeah, I agree.
That is like, yup. Mm-hmm. I absolutely want to see it. I love Key and Peele.
It's so funny.
If you're not watching their sketch show, just check it out. It is so funny.
Yeah.
Not only is it funny, but it's really, really well executed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's they're good actors. They're not just funny. They're actually good actors. There's good production value, whatever. Anyway, these guys have completely sold me on their comedic merits. And like, if they're going to do like their interpretation of Police Academy, then I think we're in, for something pretty good.
What are some of your favorite Key and Peele skits?
Well, the valets are very funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dueling inspirational janitor guys.
Oh
that
my
was
goodness.
good.
Yes,
that was hilarious.
That's hysterical.
The wise janitors.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. There's like a million of them.
The sports, the West Coast, East Coast, West Coast.
The NFL players. Herdunkachud, Ohio State. Yeah, those are... Yeah, there's just all of them really. There's the one with the guy, where like they're, these gang members and like one of their guys has died, so they have to pour some like 40 out in the curb, and one of them is just too cheap to pour it. He won't waste his beer. Yeah.
Have you seen? There's this one. Speaking of like a gang member who dies, where it's like the aftermath of like the leader of the gang.
Yeah.
His childhood friend has died.
Yeah.
And so he's like on the verge of tears.
Yeah.
And so the other guy is like trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
Where he's like, we used to play Care Bears together. He's like, there's another one where he's a substitute teacher.
That one's hilarious.
And he's pronouncing it. He's like, you done messed up, Aaron.
Aaron, yeah.
Aaron.
It's Aaron. Yeah. Shut up.
Teen Ice.
Nice. I finally saw the one that you guys had mentioned before, where he's waiting in line at like the Southwest terminal.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, like it's this airline passenger, and he has like an A boarding pass. But then it's like there's all those people that they let go before the A boarding pass, like, senior citizens, like military. But then it just starts like getting like, anyone with babies, military babies. He's like military babies.
His reactions are so priceless on that sketch.
Yeah, seriously, like look up Key and Peele on YouTube and go down the rabbit hole.
Just go down.
You'll lose an hour and you will just be dying laughing.
Have you seen the one? This is like from the very first episode where the two guys are like the one guy's talking about like how he talks to his wife.
Oh, with the tickets? You're talking about?
No, it's where it's like we were running late and she's like this and I told her.
Oh yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah, they have to whisper.
They have to like whisper. And he's like, you said that though? He's like, yeah, I said. You said bitch? Yeah, I said that. And then like the wife shows up. It's like, hey, honey, how are you? And they keep moving like further and further away because they don't want to get over her. I looked her right in the face, and I was like, bitch. It's such a funny show. Yeah. So I'm like now excited about a police academy movie, which is just a weird sentence to be saying. I don't understand that, but there you go.
I hope they bring back the theme song. The theme music for that movie is really good.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's like iconic.
Yeah.
It's iconic, like The Matrix. It's just it's part of our cultural heritage.
Hey, Zaki. Zaki, I just want to point out that I'm going to be, well, it doesn't matter because we met when I was 17.
Yes.
So I have officially been friends with you more than half my life.
Wow.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Wait, we met, oh yeah, we did meet when you were 17. You turned 18, like shortly after we met. Because you voted in the 96 election.
Yep.
Because you had just turned 18, like 3 days before, right?
Like a week before, yeah.
Wow. What do you think of that, Brian?
I feel like there's so much I can learn from you, Sean.
Yeah. Wow.
Always tie your shoe before you go into a public restroom.
That's good advice.
That is good advice.
That is good advice. Moving on now, I've actually gotten several emails from people who are saying, I can't wait for Sean to talk about this. So
I know where we're going.
Yeah. So they released the trailer for the Michael Bay produced, Jonathan Liebsman directed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay. And Sean has just talked about it, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah, with apologies to Michael.
we're going to play some of the audio here. Let's meet back on the flip side.
Crime, violence, and fear have run rampant. Our great city is being destroyed. People want justice restored to this world. People want heroes, Miss O'Neill. But heroes are not born. They're created. That's what your father and I were trying to do. Create heroes.
Okay, so should we start with Sean or should we build up to Sean?
Well, I have a more positive reaction to it, so how do we want to end this conversation?
How could you possibly have a positive reaction to
Okay,
this?
Sean, let's start with you then.
My first reaction was a little bit of hate, a little bit of revenge. I don't know where that came from. Here's
a copper taste in my mouth.
I've come to terms with the fact that all Michael Bay is doing is just taking toy properties from the 80s and putting them on steroids.
He is. Yes, that's a good observation.
It's Transformers on steroids. This is Ninja Turtles on steroids. My first reaction to this trailer was I hate the way that they look so much. They look like late 90s fan art versions of the Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like you look up on DeviantArt or whatever, like they just look so stupid. They don't look charming. They don't look endearing. They're too big. They're too bulky. They're freaking weird costumes. Like, I'm on the mindset of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I don't know why they had to tamper with the looks. Like, to me, Ninja Turtle stories, I mean, sometimes they are, but like, they're not about like the end of the universe. And like the fact that this trailer starts with like, you know, buildings coming down, like toppling, and just like all these Transformers sound effects. It's like, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as Transformers, but obviously you want it to be, because he's built up a very, you know, big audience with those Transformers movies. They've been hugely successful. That's obviously who this new Ninja Turtles movie is aimed at. There wasn't one pizza joke in the whole trailer, which surprised me. It's not the movie for me. And I'm cool with that, because I've got tons and tons of Ninja Turtle, you know, movies and TV shows and whatever that are for me. So whatever. I'm being a big boy about it.
Zaki?
Okay, so I'm somebody who I'm a fan without being a fanatic of the whole Ninja Turtle concept. So nothing I saw here like pissed me off, but nor did it get me excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like, all right, you know, like because you know, I mean, I watched the cartoon growing up, and I'm aware of it, like just as a concept, and I like the original movie from 1990. I just, you know, I have no reaction to this trailer. Like that's my honest reactions. I'm just kind of like, all right. So that's kind of where I am.
All right. Well, I am probably just a little bit. I'm kind of like with Zaki, but with a little more optimism, I guess. Like, I would call myself a fan, but not a fanatic. Also, like, I love the cartoon, had all the action figures, love the movie. I still love the movie from 1990.
Mm-hmm.
I think it holds up, honestly. Yeah. But I realize that in this Dark Knight era that we're in, you know, everything's got to be grounded and everything's got to be gritty and whatever. So I know it's going to do what it's going to do, and it's not going to be the Ninja Turtles that I grew up with. But I'm open to seeing what they're going to do with them. And I feel like at the end of the trailer, you know, they have that whole little – because that's the thing. People were saying that there wasn't humor in the trailer, and I understand that. But I think that's kind of it. Like, this was the tease. This was the build-up to finally reveal what they look like to everybody. And so it's like, you know, hide them in the shadows. Everything's going wrong, blah, 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 blah. And then finally at the end, we get a look at Michelangelo, and he says a joke. And for me, I was like, I think they are going to act like – I don't know if they're going to be Pizza Lovin' Party dudes, but like there's going to be humor, and they're going to be charming, and I like these characters. Well, I mean, I really did. I thought that was cute. I did think Michelangelo's thing at the end was kind of cute. And like, I feel like my favorite thing about those characters are that they're brothers who are all very different in personality, and they bump up against each other, and they disagree a lot. But at the end of the day, they love each other, and they get stuff done together as a unit. And that's what I want to see. So it may be bulky and on steroids, and the action's going to be ridiculous and whatever. But as long as it's like those personalities are on display, and I like enjoy them, I think I can enjoy the movie. So, you know, I'm willing to see.
It's just going to be hard to see past the way that they look, because I don't like. They could be charming as hell, like they still look like disgusting monsters, and that.
Well, did you see that thing that somebody did where they just photoshopped snouts?
Yeah, the guy basically just took the image of the turtles from the trailer, and he gave them the snouts that we're used to.
Yeah,
and it was way more palatable. I'll definitely admit that. And it seemed to be unanimous that everybody liked it better. I was wondering, because when you put a trailer out, the movie is far from finished. You know what I mean? Like, they're still in their post-production offices cutting this movie together. I'm sure they haven't even tested it yet. Usually when a first trailer comes out, they're about to test it, like a first cut. So, like, I wonder, I mean, they obviously saw those images. I'm sure they're not going to waver from it, but it makes you wonder what they're thinking, if they're second-guessing themselves a little bit.
Brian brought up a funny point when we talked about this off the air, but, like, you see the Nickelodeon Studios logo, and then the first thing you see is like terrorists wielding machine guns.
Yeah.
Right after that. Just interesting. What makes me, I think, the most sad is that, and is no secret, I'm a huge fan of the current cartoon, but it really feels like the movie universe sort of trumps everything else. So if this movie is a huge success, that means that they're going to probably cancel the current cartoons and create a new cartoon in more of the, the spirit and the look of the movie. They're doing the same thing they did the same thing with the Avengers cartoon, the Marvel Avengers Assemble cartoon. They canceled that so that they can create a new animated series more closely related to the film universe. So that makes me sad thinking that could happen.
Well, we got another year, right? When's that movie come out? Next year?
Isn't it this summer?
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this summer. Yeah, because
I'm checking it out. I don't know.
It's 2014, yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought it was one more year.
So, yeah, and by the way, we just heard that Johnny Knoxville is going to be the voice of Leonardo.
No, that's odd. But who knows?
But not bad.
No, it piqued curiosity. Peak.
For me, Cam Clark is Leonardo.
Wait, so when's this come out? Probably like August or something? Yeah, August 12th.
August 8th. August 8th.
Pardon.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well,
yeah, so
hey,
this
I'm not seeing it.
It's going to be right around the time, maybe just the week after Guardians of the Galaxy comes out. So there we go. Two movies Sean is not looking forward to.
No, I am looking forward to Guardians now. Remember?
Oh yeah,
I owned up to it when we reviewed the trailer.
I can't keep up with your changes in mood, Sean. It's very difficult.
I hate you.
we just had a real moment of drama.
Yeah. I was like, how's this going to play out?
Brian's like, stop fighting.
18 years of friendship.
I know. All ending in 30 seconds. All right, so now that we have gotten Ninja Turtles out of the way and all the people who texted me and emailed me have their answer, let's talk about the big feature for this episode on the other side of the spoiler wall, which we haven't done the spoiler wall in a long time, I realize.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, should we give general thoughts first, then go into spoiler for people who haven't seen it?
All right,
sure.
Fine. All right, so Captain America, the Winter Soldier is out today. This is opening day that we are recording the show. This is the sequel to Captain America, the First Avenger, and also to the Avengers. This is the 9th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it involves lots of shooting and parkour and explosions and Samuel L. Jackson.
Parkour.
Yeah, lots of parkour.
There is some parkour in this.
They brought in a little bit. So Brian, let's start with you.
I really, really like this movie a lot. It's sort of hard when people start building up a movie. That's just it now too. By the way, when you're talking about The Matrix, where it's like we all were able to discover The Matrix, right? But it's almost impossible to discover a movie or be surprised by a movie these days because people have seen it early. It played at some festival. It's all over the internet. And then you're like, oh, I heard this movie blew up at South by Southwest. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to be surprised by anything anymore. But anyway, there's a lot of positive buzz about this movie. So I was like, okay, lower expectations, just go in. I freaking love this movie. This movie was really, it kept in tone with all, the Marvel universe, but it did a really good job of being something else as well. I feel like some of the Marvel movies just sort of blend into one another, and I'm like, oh, I just watched another Marvel movie. I enjoyed it, but I probably won't watch it again. But like this was just a good movie. Like it stands, firmly on its own. We can get into the specifics after spoiler wall, but like I was most impressed. This movie actually had a good plot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just like there's some weird MacGuffin and action sequence, charming dialogue, and then the MacGuffin is recovered. Like this actually had like a mystery to it, and it had twists and turns, and like it was not confusing and muddled and lost in everything else. Like it was a good story, and the action is just. I was telling Sean, we were talking about it on the phone earlier. It feels like every movie we watch, even when it's a movie I like, I'm like, yeah, but if only they would have done this. Or like, I hate it when they do that. Like, it was good, but why do they have to use so much shaky cam? I'd really like to see the action that's happening.
Yeah.
Well, kids, if you want to see action and understand what's going on, welcome to Captain America 2. Like, these guys, I don't even know if they've made an action film before. I don't think they have, these brothers, this directing team.
No.
You would think they've been making good action movies their whole lives.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Because the action is good. It's actually choreographed. Like, there's things going on. It's not just people punching and like a camera right in their face and they're cutting it together and you have no clue what's going on. There's like a story to the action.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is I'm just going to go on and on, so I'm going to leave it over to you guys. But, like, this is a great movie. Go see it. That's my review.
All right. Should we start talking spoilers?
Well, if you all three concur with me, then I guess we can just go into spoilers.
Well, the two of us do. I don't know who the third person here is, but...
Oh, yeah. That was a weird way to phrase that. All right, go on.
It'd be funny if, like...
He's actually looking at the three of our images on my computer screen right now. Anyway.
All right, so let's talk some spoilers. Actually, and before we get into that, just to keep everyone up to date on this, this is on Deadline.com. It says Captain America: The Winter Soldier will become the highest-grossing April opener ever, with anywhere between 90 and 95 million, and other distributors have it even higher to 98 million.
Outstanding.
Destroying previous records set by Fast Five in 2011 by about 8 to 10 million. So another smash hit from Marvel Studios. I mean, these guys, I continue to be impressed by the ability of this, what is really kind of like an indie studio inside this monster. I mean, Marvel Studios might as well be like Miramax.
Yeah.
Miramax of superheroes, because it really, like, they have their own internal way of doing things, and Disney apparently, and Sean, maybe you can shed some light on this better, they kind of just leave them alone and let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's true.
And it's the smartest thing in the world. I mean, I think Kevin Feige is a genius.
Yeah.
In terms of his ability to just find the right people to put these movies together. I mean, I would never in a million years, like you said, Brian, I would never have thought of, these guys who've directed Arrested Development and Community. Let's give them Captain America sequel. It's just a bonkers thing to think about, and yet here we are. I would never have thought of Chris Evans as Captain America.
Right.
And now I can't think of anyone else being Captain America.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think to me this is the culmination of not so much everything the Marvel Studios brand is, because that's the Avengers, but I think it's the culmination of everything that it can be, where it does tell a much darker story.
Mm-hmm.
And it really relies on the fact that by now everyone knows this world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can tell this story, because it's not world building, it's world expanding now.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's crazy because I've said this a million times, but my parents know this world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're excited to see this movie. Like, that's crazy. When you talk about Kevin Feige being a genius, the fact that my parents know what Hydra is he's a freaking genius.
So let's talk about some of the plot mechanics here.
Yeah.
So we pick up. I mean, I'm assuming this is just a year or so after the Avengers, 2 years after the Avengers, and I think the smartest thing that they do is they just dive right into a crazy action sequence on the boat. And what I really noted is that this is the first time in all three of these movies that we've had Captain America in where we really get to see him.
Yeah.
Kicks him.
Yeah,
Kick
just
ass.
they have these great extended shots of him running across this boat.
Yeah, so cool.
It's so well done, and I feel like there was a concerted effort made to really up the badass quotient of Captain America.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, there's, like, when you say parkour, you know what I mean? Because he does. Like, he flips around and bounces off of things, but it doesn't look dumb. It looks totally cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, what I was going to ask you about, Sean, I saw it in 3D, not by choice, but the person who bought the tickets got in 3D. And I was really curious because 3D kind of messes with your brain a little bit. Like, I will give it credit. You know, when it works right, it really does feel like I was in like a crow's nest of the boat looking down at him. Yeah, I mean, there was depth going on. It was pretty cool. And I started thinking, like, this feels like there's a lot of wide shots in this movie. And I was wondering if you guys noticed that, because I really dug it. Like, there was a lot of wide shots, and like it would push in or it would whatever, but it just really gave you a sense of the geography. And like that whole sequence on that boat, I was like, man, I was following everything.
Yeah.
You know, much more than any movie allows you to these days. And I really dug that because it just showed off what he's able to do as a character, you know, but also just what these filmmakers have set out for me as an action sequence. You know, like I knew where all the bad guys were and I knew where he was, and I was able to watch him take it out, and it was all the cooler for seeing him do that in that space. So I don't know. I really appreciate that from a filmmaking standpoint.
Yep.
Now, what did you guys think of the overall plot line? Because I think for me, and what did you like about it?
Well, I mean, I liked how this movie was like one part buddy movie and one part revenge story and one part government conspiracy, sort of wrapped in this like beautiful web of action and witty banter and just everything about it. And it made me think, like, how did they pitch this movie? Like, there's so, like, they cover so much ground, and it's like it incorporates so many sort of like of our favorite things about these other movies that you know we love, and it's all in this one, you know, movie about Captain America now. And it's like, how that was a really, really difficult task.
Well, and when you think about it, I mean, that's the beauty of it. They don't have to pitch it.
Right. I mean,
all they have to pitch is it's Captain America 2.
But like I thought it was a genius way, the whole Hydra thing and the whole reveal about, you know, Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. It was just a really smart way. And maybe you give credit to like J.J. Abrams and what he did with Star Trek, but it was a really smart thing to do by basically sort of like resetting the status quo or hitting the reset button, so to speak. Yeah. Because it opens up this universe that was already ginormous. It opens it up even more. Now they can literally just kind of do anything they want to do.
It resets things in a way, because this was a complaint I had with both Iron Man 3 and with Thor 2, and we talked about them on the show. Was I felt the movies lacked consequentiality. I felt like
exactly. Yeah.
You know, I liked Thor 2 more than you guys did. I think I liked Iron Man 3 maybe slightly less than you guys did, but both of those, like, they're fine. You know what I mean? Like, you watch them, you're like, all right. Mm-hmm. But you don't really. There's nothing in those movies that carries forward to the extent where you're like, oh man, like, what's going to happen now? You know,
the stakes don't feel real in those movies.
Yeah. And I would say Iron Man 3 is more guilty of that, because at the very least, Thor 2 leaves us with this teeniest bit of a cliffhanger where you're like, oh, it's okay, that's kind of interesting. Let's see what happens with that. I think with this, it's like, well, we're going to feel the reverb in Avengers 2. We're going to feel it on TV, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
You know, and by the way, just to digress briefly, that show, I have to give all the credit in the world for how they've actually, I think, turned that show around. Because I dropped it, I just stopped watching it, and then I started just recently catching up on a few recent episodes, and it's gotten very good.
Really?
It has, and I mean, it's not amazing, but I think it's gotten substantially improved, you know, and I think part of that comes from it doesn't feel like this. It doesn't feel like you know, a third nipple or something superfluous. You know, it's a weird. I don't know
analogy.
I don't know. I went there, but it feels somewhat connected, and it's very interesting because, like, the last episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so this past Tuesday, it actually has the character Sitwell, who you know, he's a character in this. He's meeting with Coulson. And somebody comes up to him, they're like, oh, you're needed on the Lemurian Star.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, Coulson, I gotta go, and he's like, I gotta go do this boat thing, So it like literally leads right into Captain America: Winter Soldier, and then next week's episode is gonna pick up right where Winter Soldier leaves off.
Really?
Yeah, and to me, I'm like, well, that makes it a lot more like it's. If you think about it, that's a smart strategy if you're making that show, to have it tied in directly with this stuff, which you guys know. I mean, well, we're in the spoiler wall now. I mean, this show ends at a place where there is no more S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So that directly impacts a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Right.
Smart. Let's talk about Robert Redford, who I thought was great in this. I would have liked it a lot more if he hadn't spoiled the fact that he's the villain in the movie via an interview like a year ago.
Oh, really?
So I didn't know.
See, I thought it was really easy to tell, like when you first meet him in this movie. You're like, yeah, he's going to be the bad guy.
Well, I think it's easy for you to tell and for us to tell because we've done this enough, right? But I think for your average person, I think that's a pretty good twist when we find out he's a villain. And he's an asshole villain because he shoots his housekeeper, remember that?
Yeah.
But here, there's actually several twists, right? I think it's a twist that Nick Fury dies. It's a twist that Nick Fury is alive.
Yeah.
It's a twist that Redford is a bad guy. It's a twist that the Winter Soldier is Bucky.
Yeah.
Now, I watch these movies with my wife, and she's just as much into the Marvel Universe. And the great thing about her is that she, of course, only knows really the Marvel Universe through these movies. So she had no idea who the Winter Soldier is.
Cool.
Well, not quite, because hold on. I had been keeping the secret from her because she's like, "Oh, who's the Winter Soldier?" I'm like, "I don't know. He's this new villain. It's crazy, And because even the trailers actually kept his identity somewhat hidden. And then there was a special on ABC a few weeks ago that was like a puff piece for the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? And it was just like a one of these EPK type things. And it's right in there, man. They're like, yeah, Winter Soldier, we bring back Bucky, he's the villain. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So my wife is literally like, oh, is it him, really? And I'm like, I just did that. Because it's such a great twist. I don't know why you would give that away. Because I think if you don't know, now Brian, you knew, I'm assuming.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I'm not as versed in the Marvel Universe as you.
So did you spot that twist coming?
No, I had no idea who that guy was.
Wow. So what was that? What was that like? The reveal?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like I'm your father or anything, but it was like, you know what I mean? Like it was cool. Yeah. I mean, like I was like, wait, what? Like then, and then seeing that, these guys use him as a puppet and they keep shocking him and
right.
It was effective. It was definitely effective.
Yeah.
And then like it meant a lot to me too that in the end the climax there where Captain wouldn't leave him.
Yeah.
As the ship was going down, and that and then seeing Winter Soldier drag him up onto the shore, all bloody, and say it was very effective for me.
I really liked Anthony Mackie.
Yes,
also.
I was just going to say we need to talk about him.
I've been a fan of his for a while. I feel like this is kind of his coming out role in terms of I think a lot of audiences will be suddenly really aware of this guy because I thought he was great in it.
So great.
I think Sean, you referred to it as a buddy movie. It really felt like that.
Mm-hmm. The whole on your left thing, I love that. Right. I love that was the bookends of this.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah.
Right.
So great.
Well, and it really hit the idea of how Captain America is so just a decent person that people follow him because he's just good.
Right.
And I really I love the fact that we have that several times in the movie where it's like, if he says it, I'm doing it. If Captain America, and we see that again and again, even at the end when he gets on the PA, he's like, this is Steve Rogers and blah, blah, blah. And people are like, we got to listen to Captain America, Yeah.
Dude, that moment with the kid when they wanted him, to initiate the ship or whatever. And then I was like, in my head, I was like, don't do it, kid. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And then when he didn't, I was like, that guy's a damn hero. You know what I mean? Like, that really actually got to me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, I thought he was going to shoot him. I was like, oh, but like, that's so cool that he's still, you know, like, yeah. Like, all that stuff. You know, you watch movies like this and they have moments like that and you know how they're going to go and you're like, yeah, you still enjoy them. But like, I felt that stuff. I felt the weight of this film.
Yeah. In terms of like some of the more emotional stuff, there's the little moment where Steve goes to see Peggy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was handled really well. The idea that she's obviously, I mean, she's losing her memories, obviously. And kind of, I mean, I thought Chris Evans just played it so well.
Yeah.
Because you really see the emotion there. Now, the film, as far as I know, does not even allude to the fact that his neighbor, who's played by Emily Van Camp, is Sharon Carter.
They just name her at the end.
But do they even say Carter, or do they just call her Sharon?
They call her Sharon at the very end.
Yeah. She's Peggy Carter's, in the comics, she's like her grand niece, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, like this is actually, it's like, because originally they brought Captain America back in the 60s, right? So when this is kind of interesting because originally you had Captain America in World War II, and then they kind of stopped publishing him, and then he came back they actually brought him back briefly in the 50s, but then they ignored that and brought him back again in the 60s. And they said, oh, he's been in suspended animation. He was in suspended animation about 20 years, right? So in other words, originally he was in suspended animation for slightly longer than Sean and I have known each other. Which is kind of less impressive.
Right.
Right? But so originally it was that, when he was in World War II, he had a romance with this girl, Peggy Carter, and then he fell in love with her younger sister, Sharon Carter. But as time has gone on, they've had to figure out a way to account for the fact that, well, World War II is a set moment in time, but the present keeps moving forward. So now, like, she went from being her younger sister to being like her niece to her grandniece to,
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it is now. But in the movie, they don't refer to it at all, and I would assume only that maybe because it's like creepy, that he'd be like, well, your aunt is young, old, and forgotten me, so let's say you and I hook up, But other thoughts on the film?
Did you guys notice on Nick Fury's tombstone the verse?
No.
No, what was it?
It was Ezekiel 25:17. His verse.
No way.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Wow. Very clever.
I liked the crossbones tease that the guy had, that his chest strap thing, was in the shape of a cross.
So we should explain that to Brian.
Yeah. What was this?
Oh, the guy that
Frank Grillo,
the guy that Falcon fights at the end.
Yeah.
So the sort of like the douchebag militia guy.
The main douchebag guy,
He's this character known as Crossbones.
Okay, because he got all burned up, right? And they show him because I was like, all right, he's going to turn into somebody, but I don't know who.
And the trait of his costume is that it comes across like kind of like X-shaped across his chest and his back. So
I see.
Yeah, in the comics, he's the Red Skull's like right-hand man.
Mm.
And actually, here's something interesting because I had read a leaked spoiler maybe a few months ago, and this was from a purported like music track listing or something like that said Alexander Pierce is the Red Skull. So I went into this movie expecting that.
Interesting.
And I'm not saying I was disappointed that didn't happen, but I kind of had that in the back of my mind, and I was like, oh, well, I guess he's not the Red Skull then.
Well, I guess
because I kept waiting for that to pay off in some way, and it didn't.
I guess maybe from a certain point of view he is, but like he's the new Red Skull. What's interesting is when Gary Shandling first appeared in this movie, the audience went nuts.
Oh, really?
And I was like, really?
Because he looks horrifying. They was fear, the reaction.
He does look scary.
He looks like a lizard person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what he's done to himself, but I'm assuming the reaction was because of he was an Iron Man 2, right?
Yeah, him when Falcon first uses his when we see the wings for the first time, and when Black Widow, when it's revealed that she's undercover as that old lady, kicks the crap out of everybody. those were probably like the 3 biggest applause moments in our audience.
I actually wanted it to be the old woman.
Me too.
I was like hoping she was like some sort of like, Black Widow of her day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, whatever. But, our audience, the biggest reaction, mine wasn't as responsive. I went to a 9:00 showing the day before it opened. And, we were all into it. We were laughing and, whatever. But we got a big response when Danny Pudi showed up, Abed from
Yeah.
He got like a whole from the audience. That was really funny.
The old woman, by the way, who's on the Shield Council, this is like random trivia that you guys probably wouldn't care, but she's played by Jenny Agutter, who is like at one time in the 70s and 80s was like one of the sexiest women on earth, She was in Logan's Run. She's the love interest in that. She's also in An American Werewolf in London.
Interesting.
She looked familiar, but I couldn't place her.
Well, now she's that old lady. Now she's that old lady. Like it's the way of life, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you know that Gary Sinise was the voice of at the Smithsonian?
Really?
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I like that moment too, by the way. That was really great with him going through there and seeing his history and seeing Peggy speak on the thing.
And the little kid noticing him and
yeah.
We should talk briefly about the character of Cap. And
I was about to say, and also Chris Evans as Cap.
Yeah, and a friend of mine that I saw it with yesterday brought up a good point. Like in very similar ways to like Superman and Clark Kent, like you could easily screw up the idea of him being this Boy Scout.
Right.
And I thought that they did a really great job of maintaining his sort of decency and his innocence, while at the same time, like he is a complex guy because of the situation that he's in.
Right.
Like being displaced from his time and fighting for things that he believes in that don't quite matter as much anymore. It's just really, really interesting journey that he's on.
I think that Cap is a hard character to play. Yeah, the Superman connection is really apt. And my thought, I think, before this movie was that of all the Avengers actors, I felt like Chris Evans was the most disposable. Mm-hmm. And not because I think he's doing a bad job, but because I think it's one of those like, just get kind of a generically handsome guy and sort of let him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like he really took ownership of the role with this movie. I mean, this is the guy from Not Another Teen Movie.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I'm going to say this is my favorite of the Marvel movies so far.
Yeah, for me, it's still Avengers and.
I would still put Avengers at the top, but this is second for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I interrupted your train of thought there with Chris Evans, though, Zaki. Was there more?
No, yeah, that was basically it. It's impressive to me that he's, really, just kind of turned himself into a very serious actor.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you guys think about? We were talking about this afterward because I saw it with 2 other guys, and I liked it the most of everybody. One person said that they didn't find him to be as compelling of a central character for a film. Huh. And I understand what he's saying. And I suggested, like, when you have a Captain America movie, it's almost like you're always going to have someone next to him, sort of like how they had Black Widow in this movie.
Right.
Like you need someone to bounce off of. And I don't even think that's a bad thing. No. But what do you guys think about that?
No, I think there's validity to that. I think in the comic books, it's always worked very well by virtue of the fact that he always does have this extended group of side heroes who work with him.
Yeah.
There is Falcon. There was a character called Nomad who was his sidekick for a long time. Bucky, of course. Like he's kind of this extended group of people. Like they follow Cap's lead. And I think he plays off other people. I think. Let me put it this way. I think that other people's reactions to him make for a more interesting dynamic because he is such a kind of the living legend and people responding to that.
Right. He's not a loner. He's not, he's not Batman. He's not a loner. He's a captain. He's the captain of the army, so like he should have a team around him.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. Very true. So any other wrap-up thoughts on Captain America: Winter Soldier?
Loved it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wish
All right,
we
well,
saw it together.
Yeah, me too. We got to see the first one together.
Yeah.
That was on you guys' last trip up here. It's very sad.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the last trip up there? Was the first Captain America? Wow.
Yeah, that was summer of 2011.
Jeez.
Believe it or not. All right. I have some trivia questions prepared for you guys.
You do?
Tasty.
Yeah.
Tasty. Delicious.
So
Let's see. I've won 2 weeks in a row, so my
3.
humor is through the roof.
3, Brian.
I'm going to lose 3?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I'm probably going to
You're going
So
for number 4.
I've tried to mix up movie questions and comic questions.
Cool.
Okay.
So let's see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for your avatars, I want you to pick. I don't know. What do you guys want to be?
How about pen brands? So I'll be Bic.
Okay.
What's another pen brand? Sharpie? Does that count?
Yeah,
Sure.
that counts.
Okay, Sharpie.
All right. We heard
Pen brand, Brian. Pen
Clearly-
brand.
I have a pen in my hand. That's why.
Yeah. That's great. All right.
What's your name? P. Tier.
Grib.
All right. So like I said, I've tried to mix together some comic-related questions and some movie-related questions.
Cool.
Okay. Tommy Lee Jones appeared in Captain America: The First Avenger. This was his second time in a comic book movie. What was the first?
Bic.
Sharpie. Oh.
Yes, Bic.
Batman Forever.
Wherein he played,
Oh, Two-Face.
yeah, taking over the role from,
Billy D. Williams.
who's currently appearing on which show?
Really? He's on
Dancing.
something right now.
He's on Dancing with the Stars, and it's not.
Oh. I'm not married. I don't know these things.
Hosted by?
Yeah.
Tom Bergeron?
Who also hosts?
America's Funniest Home Videos? Do I win?
Who replaced
that's-
what former host of America's Funniest Home Videos?
Bob Saget?
Who used to be on?
Voices the dad
Full
on what
House?
show?
And you just wrapped up How I Met Your Mother?
Did you
Starring
watch
Colby
the finale?
I
Wow. Who's
What?
starring Kobe Smulders? Who's appearing in what movie currently?
Captain America 2.
Boom.
All right, I'm going to bed, you guys. I need a cigarette. That actually, I got to be honest, that is some impressive bit of whatever judo we just did.
That seriously was pretty impressive, I gotta say. I can't believe you guys kept connecting all that stuff.
That was Sean. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the character of Nick Fury has
Sharpie.
Yes.
David Hasselhoff.
No.
Damn it.
That's what I thought too. All right, good.
So the character of Nick Fury has been drawn in the comic books to resemble which actor?
Vic.
Sharpie.
Yes.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson, that's right. That was a trick question.
You're a
But of course, he was drawn to resemble Samuel L. Jackson like 10 years before the movies.
Yeah.
Just as like a lark. And then they ended up casting him because, hey, we drew him anyway. So.
Yeah.
No, actually, you know what they have done in the comics? That they have, this is true, they've introduced Nick Fury's black son, who looks like Samuel L. Jackson. I did think that was kind of interesting that they have actually done that in the comics, where they introduced a character called Marcus Johnson, who turns out to be the result of Nick Fury's like tryst with an African American woman, and then now he's Nick Fury Jr.
I see.
And he shaved his head, and he had like some accident where he lost his eye. Like, it's very contrived.
Right. To get him to, yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't look like movie Nick Fury, except now he does.
Right.
You know?
Right. Reverse engineer a little bit.
Reverse engineering, exactly. All right, what question was that? Are you keeping track?
We're on 3 now.
Number 3. Okay. The character of Sitwell refers to another Marvel character when he's being interrogated by the Falcon. Which character does he refer to? Who has not been in any of the movies?
Sharpie.
Yes.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Yeah, wasn't that weird?
Yeah.
I was like, he says we're looking at Stephen Strange, something like that. I thought it was very interesting. He specifically referred to him by name.
Yeah.
And I was like, did I hear that? I guess I did. Okay, so question number 4 then. Is somebody keeping score? Because I'm not. I just realized.
I have 2. Sean has 1.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so question number 4. Here we go. In the comic books, Bucky was Captain America's costumed sidekick. What was his superhero name?
Sharpie.
Yes.
Bucky?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Bucky. So it was
Yeah.
Captain America and his partner Bucky,
Yeah.
who is really Bucky Barnes. Now bear in mind, their identities were secret. Captain America and Bucky. Secret. He didn't think things through. Here's another interesting bit of trivia. Back in the 80s, they had a storyline where Captain America was replaced by a character named John Walker, who became the new Captain America. Right, and he was chosen by the government, and they gave him a partner, his own partner, who was called Bucky, who was black. And it was brought up to the people at Marvel that when you refer to a black person as Bucky, it's racist.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
It's offensive. So the Marvel people had, like, nobody realized this at Marvel, so they had to explain it away in the books and had the character change his identity. And he became a character called Battlestar because they realized that they'd given him a racist identity.
Well, let's just call him, I don't know, Battlestar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's fine, I guess.
All right, this is the tiebreaker here. Question 5.
Okay, here we go. This is a comic book question.
Crap.
During World War II, Captain America used to partner with 2 other iconic Marvel superheroes. Name one. During World War II.
Sharpie?
Yes.
Wait. You said iconic superheroes?
Well, like, well-known. Not iconic, I guess. Well-known. Marvel characters.
I was going to say, was it what? Sergeant Savage?
Sergeant Savage. I think you're thinking of... Well, Sergeant Savage was like a G.I. Joe character.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter was a WWF character.
We're not talking about the Howling Commandos guys, right?
No.
Okay. Sharpie?
Yes.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, here, I got a different one. Let's see if you can get this.
What was the answer to that one? Just curious.
I would have accepted either the Human Torch or the Submariner.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. The actor who played Captain America in the 1990 movie that went straight to video was the son of a famous author. Who was the author?
Sharpie.
Yes.
Dr. Seuss?
Not Dr. Seuss.
Bick.
Yes.
Shel Silverstein.
No.
Sharpie.
Are we going to go until 2 a.m.?
Jack Kerouac.
No.
Bick. Norman Mailer.
All right, so can I assume you don't know?
Yes.
So the actor was Matt Salinger.
J.D. Salinger.
Oh, there you go.
And if I said it, it would have given it away. So that's why.
Okay.
So I think.
Wow,
Brian,
that's interesting.
Yeah, he was the son of J.D. Salinger. Like that's like I don't know that Matt Salinger has any other like credits, but he's known as like J.D. Salinger's son.
Salinger.
Yeah. So go figure. All right, so I think Brian, you won this one, I believe.
We're still tied, actually.
We're still tied, Zaki.
Is it 2-2? Really?
Yeah.
Ah, damn it! All right.
Ah, damn it.
Okay, here we go. I got this. So,
Pull a question out of your butt. Like, and I know you are, but I'm saying, like, just anything.
dig deeper into your butt. Like, all the way in. I know you are, but go deeper. Okay, here we go. The Red Skull was played by Hugo Weaving.
I wish everybody could see Zaki right now. He's like spinning in his chair, just like trying to come up with something.
What previous comic book movie had Hugo Weaving appeared in?
Big.
Yes.
V for Vendetta.
That's right. Did you know that, Sean?
Now I do. I never saw V for Vendetta.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Now Brian won.
There you go. Congrats, Brian.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, we were one question away from what superhero is the star of Captain America?
What is your favorite color? Blue. I mean black. Oh! Alrighty. Well, that wraps up another episode of Movie Film Podcast. Brian, where can people find you online?
At everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I.
And Sean, how about you?
moosehub.com, and you can find us all at the newly designed MrBoyProductions.com and moviefilmpodcast.com, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. You can email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a message on our Facebook wall. This is Zaki.
And you can find me at zakiscorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. And also at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews and the Movie Film Podcast are posted regularly. You can also find me on Twitter at Zaki's Corner. Brian, are you on Twitter?
I am at Everything Brian. But it's sort of something I got. It's a project. It's a project. I've put
it's
like
a
doghouse. I bought all the wood. I'm going to build a doghouse someday.
I've put a challenge to Brian, and I'm hoping he'll take up the challenge. I said I want you to post one worthwhile thought a day.
Yeah.
And Brian got lost at worthwhile. He hasn't made it past. He hadn't made it past that hurdle.
Not just worthwhile, Twitter worthwhile. That's a little bit easier.
Twitter worthwhile. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. So you can find. Oh, and Sean, are you on Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter.
I ask every week just to see if the answer will be any different.
No, the answer will never change. I don't know. Maybe someday, I'll be rich and famous, and you'll sort of have to. Speaking of, didn't James Franco just get in trouble for propositioning some 17-year-old girl via Twitter or Instagram or something like that?
He's like, "Hey, where are you at? I'm going to get a hotel room. You want to come?"
Yeah.
Like it was pretty insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was something. The way that it happened to was something that couldn't have happened even like 3 years ago. Like
right.
He was outside of a theater where he was performing a play, and this girl wanted to take a picture with him, and he goes, "Tag me."
Yeah.
So she tagged him in the picture, so that's how he was able to get a hold of her.
Right.
Because he was linked to this thing, and now you can see this girl is, and now you can message her. I mean, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, just from a technological standpoint, that the way that this story unfolded.
Well, he's kind of an idiot for thinking that. Like, I don't know what he, I don't.
For sure. I mean, that whole thing is a whole other thing altogether. But the fact that, like, the way that he was able to get in contact with her through, like, being tagged and then, like, have this conversation with her, and then she leaks this stuff online, with screen grabs from her own phone. It's like, this is like a story that could not have happened, like, 5-6 years ago. It's really weird.
And that, friends, is why Sean does not have Twitter.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Where you at, girl?
Because of James Franco, ruining it for everybody. Well, regardless, we appreciate you listening. Tune in next time for our show when we celebrate the 15th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And we will take the conversation in a direction you may not be expecting.
Yep. I'm very much looking forward to this episode.
I'm looking forward to it, too.
Yeah.
So Sean is surprised.
What direction are we going? I thought there was only one direction for Phantom Menace.
One Direction.
Yeah.
Is,
well, I'll keep it. Zaki's being keeping it a little bit secret where we're going to go with it. We'll keep it a secret, but it's not exactly what you think.
It's a secret. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
So, on behalf of my colleagues, my name is Zaki Hasan. This is the Movie Film Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Welcome